Everybody, we're back. New episodes of Bear Kitchen right now for you. So, it's still rainy outside. You know, December's over, January's here. It's a bit gray, it's a bit rainy, you know, it's a bit cold. And what I want to do for all of you today is give you a better understanding of something that I really like doing, our side dishes. Put a graphic right there. Side dishes! Pow! But side dishes to me are super important. Because, you know, meat is realistically not super difficult. You put rub on it, you throw it in the oven, and you cook it until it doesn't kill you, and then you're good. But so the side dishes, I think, can elevate a meal like so. It goes from here to like straight up. It's fantastic. And I'm going to go through some of my favorite side dishes that I'm going to be showing you today. This is volume 1. This is volume 1 of side dishes. And I shall do other volumes later down the line. It's going to be great. But for now, let's get started. First side dish is phone. Sweet. First thing we're preparing today is our sweet potato casserole. Now, a lot of you probably have eaten something similar to this during Thanksgiving or Christmas, but I'm going to be honest, I eat this all the time. We're going to start with one relatively large sweet potato. That's about 2 cups of sweet potato or yam or whatever you want to call it in the pot. I let it cool down to about room temperature because I don't want anything to kind of curdle while I'm like mixing it. There is a bit of steam coming off of it, but it's pretty cold in here, so it gets a pass. Anyways, we're gonna start by mashing her up. Oh, I love that ASMR kind of. Let's get a close up of this. Oh yeah, I love the mishy mash. Now, by exposing the insides of it, it might be warmer than you think it is, so touch it, but it's not like ridiculously hot. I mainly want that because the first thing that we're going to be adding into this is the egg. So this is 1 egg. Bam. And we're going to mush it in really completely. Boom. Now, other ingredients. We have a 1/4 cup of white sugars. This is 2 tablespoons of melty butters. Yum yum yum. And this is a 1/4 cup of milk and a cap of vanilla extract. Like you want very little, like you just want like a splash of it. Like not even a splash. Bam. Give her a mix. You're gonna see it's gonna be pretty wet, but after we bake it, it'll harden up thanks to the egg that we've put in there, and of course, to the act of baking it over a period of time. There's that good slop. Bam! Sweet potatoes! Now, we are going to take the sweet potatoes mixture and dump it into our little casserole dish. Yum yum yum. It's one of those things where you don't want it to be too thin or too thick. So this is a nice appropriately sized casserole dish for what we're doing today. Flatten it off. Now, sweet potatoes, set, ready to go. We are now going to take a trip over to our topping station. First thing we are going to do is, so this is half of a 1/3 of a cup of flour, which is a very obscure measurement, but here we go. In regards to this flour, I would say, if you're questioning how full it is, I would say less is more, because you don't want it to be too floury. Like, we're not making bread. Like, it just needs to have enough flour to kind of crumbly up. Then we need a 1/4 cup of packed brown sugars. There we go. And a little of that. So, when you're measuring brown sugar and it says packed, like, it really does mean, like, squish it down. There we go. Nice. I'd say that's good. Boom. Packed brown sugars. Plop. Okay. Mix that together a little bit. Isn't that fucking sweet? Isn't that heckin' goop? There we go. This is kind of what you're looking for. Sort of a nice light, dry mixture. Afterwards, we're gonna do 1.5 tablespoons of butters. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's about right. So 1, boom, and a half. This is the opposite. I would go heavier on the butter if I'm not sure. Just because, you know, like Mama always said, you better get butter, you better get out. So, blur that. We have flour, brown sugar, and butter in here. We are going to mix it up just with our hands. If you want to use either a fork or a pastry cutter, you can, because what we're looking for is, we're not looking for a paste, we're looking for like almost like when you're making the start to a pie dough, where it's kind of crumbly, because we're going to crumble it on top of our casserole. There. It's a little pasty, but whatever. This is fine. Now we're going to take this, and we're going to kind of crumbly it over the top. See, if it gets a little pasty, that's fine. Just kind of try your best to spread it out as good as you can. It will melt and spread and then crisp up in the oven, which is exactly what we want. There we go. Bloom, bloom, blam. Yum. Now, final touch. We're going to gingerly salt the top a little bit to create a bit of contrast. And we got pecans. The official measurement is 1/4 cup, but I just say, you know how many pecans you want. Like realistically, you know how many pecans you want on this. So you just follow your heart. Just pecans. Now, the best part about this recipe is you could do this the day before, right? You do it the day before, it just sits in your fridge, and then when you're ready to do it, you just throw it in and it's done. In a preheated oven, we're gonna cook this at 325 for about half an hour, and it'll be good to go. You'll see it. You're gonna see this later after it's all done at the end. On to the next thing, potatoes. Now we're gonna do potatoes. Now, you know, for a lot of side dishes, potatoes are always a fantastic side dish. I love having potatoes. I'm going to show you one of my favorite ways to do them, A, and B, this is one of the easiest things you could ever do. So, I have these little potatoes. You can buy them in a pack. They're pretty cheap. I got the funny multicolored ones. Isn't that nice? And all I've done to them so far is I've washed them and I've trimmed off any parts that I didn't think were good, like any goopy parts or like the eyes or any divots you kind of dig out. But this is what we're gonna do. We're just gonna cut them in half. In half, not quartered, nothing fancy, so in half in the bowl. Boom. Now, some salt. You can really season these however you want. There are a million different seasoning mixes for these things, but for me, this is gonna be good. The unifier is oil. You can use any type of oil. Usually olive. I've got grapeseed. You want a pretty liberal amount of oil. That's probably like not even a quarter cup, but a couple of tablespoons. Like, this is all you really need. Give them a toss. Make sure they're all covered in oil first. And then I've got some Cajun seasoning. Again, seasoning blends are everywhere. You could use French fry seasoning, just some salt and pepper, maybe something with some herbs in it, Mrs. Dash, whatever you want. Creole, whatever. So, but I've got some Cajun seasoning here. We're gonna just season these. That's all you need, a couple shakes. So you can pour these out onto a pan and bake them in the oven. However, because I'm gonna be baking a lot of different things today, I'm going to be making use of another device in my kitchen that you may have or may not have. I have an air fryer. Beautiful. I use it for chicken nuggies. And I was like, that's it. But today we're using it for something else. If you want to keep your air fryer nice and spotlessly clean, you can line the inside with tin foil. I've done that millions of times. But I woefully have found out that I do not have any more tin foil in my house. So we're just going to make a bit of a mess. Bam, put these in. These will air fry in my air fryer on 400. It goes to 390, 400. And we're going to be doing it for 20 minutes. And boom, potatoes. Easy, simple, get it done, feed the kids, get the dad off your back. On to the next thing. Okay, another side dish we're going to be doing is cauliflower. A lot of people just steam this and serve it with cheese sauce. That's fine. But I want to show you that this vegetable is actually really, really malleable in the way that you can make it. So what we're doing is we're doing a baked cauliflower today. The only thing I've done to this so far is I've trimmed off some of the awful spots because this is not a new head of cauliflower. This is something I just had in my fridge. I'm going to show you how to get it from here. So first off, you're going to break off a lot of these lower parts. Get those out of here. And then you're going to insert the knife on an angle in here, not going too deep. And you're going to keep doing that until you just go around the entire... Make sure you get a good angle on there. So you go around the entire thing. Boom. And it breaks off. And it's gone. And 1, 2, 3. The cauliflower is good. Boom. Also, shout out to these little like eighths. This pan is an eighth of a pan. And it's perfect for little stuff like this. Because I got a teensy little oven and it's so cute. Okay. Now, baked cauliflower. It's super stupid easy. Here we go. I have enough butter to cover it. I don't know, half a cup maybe? Not even that. You can eyeball it. Like, this isn't really an exact science. I've got a bit of sugar. Not very much, just a sprinkle of it because it's gonna... it's gonna balance out the seasoning that we're using. And B, is gonna help brown the outside of it. A little salt, not too much. And then some curry powder. You may or may not have this. Curry powder is everywhere. There's no reason to not have it. Not very much, like two hefty pinches of it. That's probably like 2 teaspoons at most. You don't want like too much, or else the seasoning like kind of bitterness is gonna get you. And now you just mix it with your hands. If this was room temperature, it would be easier, but you know, that's not really a deal breaker in regards to like what we're doing. It feels kind of... The temperature it's at now, this kind of feels like Play-Doh. Butter. Now, literally what we're gonna do is we're just gonna rub the butter on the outside of this. We want total coverage. We're not encasing it in butter, but we want butter everywhere because it's carrying our seasonings and everything else. Again, tinfoil your pans if you don't want to have to deal with the mess, but I am out. So here we go. Thank God I have a thank God these are dishwasher safe. And 1, 2, 3. Right? Again, super, super easy. This one, we're gonna bake it anywhere between 375 to 400. It's almost like the same you would bake potatoes at. So if we were doing our potatoes in the oven, we would do these alongside it. And again, this is gonna take maybe about 20, 25 minutes. For me, I don't like over baking stuff like this. I like a lot of texture. So that's about where I want it. If you want it a little mushier, don't be afraid to bake it for a little longer at a lower temperature. But anyways, we only have one more thing left to do, and it's the easiest of all. So get ready. It's gonna be sweet. Boop. Asparagus. This to me is probably one of the easiest vegetables to cook, and a lot of people I know can get a little intimidated by it because they don't know what to really do with it. And I'm going to show you my favorite way of doing this, and it's so wonderfully easy and ready to go. This is straight from the package, and I give it 1 rinse of water. The first thing you're going to do, you're going to line it up. And you're going to cut about 1/3 of it away. This is all woody. Boom. Another trick is you can actually bend it and it will snap at the point where it stops being woody. But I find that that actually has more waste than this, so this can be gone. Banished. Now, asparagus on the pan. Again, super easy. Drizzle of oil. Olive oil would be best, but I don't have any right now. Salt and pepper. Being pretty liberal with it. Alright, manhandle your vegetables a little bit, just to show them who's boss. Yeah, you like that, you dirty. Now, after it's mixed, you're gonna have an even layer, like that. Like this. Now, this is enough for a lot of people. Like, even this, it's basically done, but I want to take it one little step further with this. Parmesan. Normally, I really wouldn't care about the quality of ingredients, but when it's something like this, do not use that crappy powdered Parmesan cheese. It won't melt. It'll just brown, and it's not good for this. So I have some Parmesan shavings. There's also pre-grated Parmesan you could use, but I want the shavings today. I'm feeling a little fancy. We're gonna just give like a liberal little schmoodle like about there. We're not drowning it in Parmesan. This is like a garnish, basically. There. This is great because you can bake this right at, like, everything's out of the oven, ready to go. Switch your oven to broil, throw it in, let it bake for maybe a minute or 2, and you're done. You could also, if you don't like using the broil setting because you find it burns things, like a lot of people do, just set it to 425 and bake it for like 2 to 3 minutes. You want the vegetables to be sizzling, and you want the cheese to be melting. That's the important part. Because asparagus doesn't need a lot of time to cook properly. And again, if you overcook it, it turns to mush, and I am against hashtag no more mushy vegetables. That's a weird hashtag. All right, this is our last thing to do. So next time you see me, we're gonna have everything baked up and ready to go. All right, see you at the dinner table. Woo! All right, we're back, and I've got everything made right here. Oh, I gotta get you guys in a close-up of this. First, we've got our asparagus right there. Isn't that awesome? Oh, delightful. And then we have our sweet potato pie, or yam pie, or yam casserole, or whatever you want to call it. It's fantastic. This really firmed up after a little bit, and you can see the yam really set because of the eggs. We have our baked cauliflower. I've already cut it into quarters, which I really like doing. It's good. And then we have our crispy air fryer potatoes, which, as you saw, were so easy to make. And we don't have any meat here. I don't have any main dish. I don't need no main dish. I mean, like, come on. Come on. So, first things first, we gotta taste them. I'm so excited. I love everything. Some of these things, they're my favorite way to prepare these vegetables. You know, and you saw it was so easy. It was just like oil seasoning in the oven. Mission complete. It's fantastic. Anyways, I'm excited. First, the asparagus with the Parmesan on it. Oh my god. That's my favorite way to do it, because you can, it's not mushy because you don't bake it for very long. Like, again, not even 5 minutes in the oven, a little bit of broiling at the end just to make the cheese melt. Mission complete. Oh, it's perfect. Now, onto this. Yeah, look at some pecans, some of the brown sugary stuff right there. This is it. I love the texture of the pecans and the taste of the brown sugar with the yam, sweet potato, whatever you want it. Oh, it's almost dessert. It's almost dessert on your plate. Oh, it's wildly good. Roasted cauliflower with the curry on it. Really, really delicious. And then finally, the air fryer potatoes. I've always used my oven. I actually haven't used my air fryer for these kind of things before, so I'm really curious about how good these are going to be. They're perfect. Like, they're baked all the way through. They're crispy on the outside. The seasoning didn't burn. And my favorite part is, because we did them in the air fryer and it wasn't on a pan, they didn't like burn on the bottom of the pan, but were kind of undercooked on the top. My oven's a little hot, like, underneath it. It's fantastic. Like, every single one of these things is fantastic. It's wildly delicious. It's fairly healthy, as you've seen. Like, these will elevate a meal from here to here. Like, if you had meat, like, this is perfect. Anyways, thanks everybody for coming in and tuning in. It was a big break. I want an episode every 2 weeks. That's my goal. And this is the year I'm gonna really push and do it. So you better get ready and tune in. And if you like what you saw, hit that like button and then subscribe if you can. And it makes all the difference to little guys like me. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya!